wanna do is you get in this tractor
We can scrap those.
I didn't get to tell you last time, Dan, but we got a new Texas landmark in town. So we're now Texas landmark at Ritz.
Really? Where we have some old.
At the Ritz.
Really?
Yeah. We just got this last week. I got the email saying that our placard's been approved. Everything's being sent in. It'll be up soon. So
Nice.
got a new historical landmark.
Getting ready. Nice. That's fantastic. So we might install our basement they're working on. I think we're working on.
It didn't take us long at all. We put in the application in May.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, May.
Like 4 or 5 of those.
But I'll tell you what did it, Sonia Vincent with her little packet of information. She's the reason.
I don't doubt that a bit. She is. Okay.
He's got bananas.
Yes, I know. You can stand.
Good thing it's not very far.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you today. Lord, we just ask you to lead, guide, and direct us during this commissioner's meeting. Lord, we just want to lift up everybody up to you, Lord, that's just struggling right now, Lord, and we just want you to open your ears to their prayers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. At this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action will be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Okay. Court to discuss and consider increasing project schedule and staffing. Bill Coden. We're helping.
Terry and I help fence repairs and golf lawn, all of it. Annual.
Okay, really? Okay, good, good.
So.
All right. Bill. The last time I talked to y'all about the recreational trails grant, we had approval to start with the planning. We now have approval to do everything. So I will give y'all more information in the next couple of weeks. Anything else? All right. Court to discuss and consider a letter of support for Remo's UAN facility to be located in Scurry County through a grant application to the Department of Energy. As we discussed before, they have just found out about this grant opportunity. They applied for the grant August 11th. They're not asking for anything but a letter of support from Scurry County to apply for the grant. Any thoughts, questions, concerns?
I didn't have a problem with this.
I think that we need all the industry that we can get here that will work with what we have within our community. I was concerned as one of those that constituent that said, hey, if they're using fresh water, I'm not selling it to them. And I said, thank you, because that isn't always the case.
Right.
But using brine water is awesome. We got lots of it.
Right. And once again, the reason they're wanting to come to Scurry County is because we have all of the infrastructure in place,
Yes.
all the renewables, the CO2. If they've looked in other places, they don't have those in that infrastructure that they're looking for. So, $300 million project and 30 jobs. Yes, sir.
Why was the Lubbock Development Corporation turning this down?
I don't know that they were. They looked at Lubbock, but they don't have the infrastructure in Lubbock, like I just mentioned, the CO2 and all the renewable energy to do the project up there.
Do y'all have any records from, for example, the EPA on environmental studies?
They are just getting started with this whole thing. They don't.
Then
have
what's
any-
the rush for this thing to be?
There's no rush. They're talking 26 to 27, 25 to 26, putting the project in. They're initially, right now, applying for a grant. All they're asking is a letter of support from each of the entities to apply for that.
But isn't there,
It's kind of flipped the script, normally, we get, this process is last normally. With the way the Department of Energy is doing this, is they're asking for community support at the beginning and not at the end of the project.
so there's been no environmental studies done at all?
No, they haven't done anything other than look at where they might put it.
Is there going to be an opportunity for public hearing and public input?
If they make a request for,
Who's they?
an abatement, the company, remote. If they do a request for an abatement, there would be a public hearing, but as far as a public hearing just for them to come, no. It's a private company, just like any other private company can come into Scurry County to do business. They would, if they purchase the land and they get all of their other stuff that we are not involved with at all, if they get all that done and they don't ask for an abatement, they can, and they get the grant, whether they get a letter from us or not, then they could come into Scurry County. We don't have to approve anything with that. Our hands would be tied. We wouldn't have anything to do with it. All this is a letter of support for them applying for the grant.
But doesn't the court have a responsibility to the public to make sure that this plant operates safely?
In what way? I mean,
Environmental concerns,
we are not
such
the
as air
EPA.
pollution, water
That
pollution.
would be up to the EPA. We don't do anything with those. We have no control over that.
Okay,
We don't even tell you that you have to have a permit to do electricity in your home, let alone do environmental type work that we. have
has
no
there been
experience.
any indication of a more specific location other than Dermont?
That's how early in this process it is.
Are they looking for utilities such as the nearby substation and railroad spur, which is located there?
They have mentioned that that's why they like that area, because there is that renewable energy right there, the two solar and the wind projects and the rail.
And who's gonna supply CO2?
That they have to figure out. I think they were talking about Kinder Morgan possibly having an agreement with them. But like I said, it's still early in the process. We don't know for sure.
What about the water concerns?
Water concerns, they've talked about using brine water.
Are they gonna desalinize it or not?
Yes, they would. My understanding is that yes, that's what they discussed in here, correct, Sean?
The last word I heard was it was needing 400 gallons per minute.
I don't know how much they need. Did they mention that?
That's what they said,
Okay.
it's for cooling.
But that has to be fresh water.
No, it doesn't.
No?
They used brine water, they sell them.
You saw
whatever, yeah, first, then, because they'll use that same water for the plant that they make this
UAN.
yeah. But they also use that water to cool it. But it's desalinized first.
And I talked to them on Friday, and they said also another option was to use sewer water after it'd been treated, like they pump back into Deep Creek.
Use what?
Sewer water after where they're dumping Deep Creek. After it's gone through the plant, they could use.
So they're gonna be discharging water?
No, they can use that for cooling.
City water, plant water.
Once again, it's very early in the process. We don't have that information on what they're gonna do.
Okay.
And as far as safety, it's not the UAN that uses natural gas, which creates that explosive element to it.
Well, ammonia nitrate plus diesel fuel is very explosive.
Yeah, they're not using diesel fuel.
They don't have to. I'm saying that could be a danger because that's happened in the past.
Okay, but the process they're using is a new process that is not an explosive process.
What about storage?
they would store it in plastic barrels is what they are showing us. They
Are
wouldn't,
they gonna
there wouldn't be
store-
a lot of storage, because what they're doing is they're making it for this local area. It would be for Lubbock and here, to use, for farmers to use in this.
There's
area.
not that much ammonia used here, you know that.
I don't know.
I can tell you with the drought being what it is,
Okay. That's information that I don't have. All I know is that they're requesting a letter of support to put a facility here and, build a UAN plant that is green energy used. Green energy is used to.
Are they
develop.
gonna, I didn't quite understand your answer a moment ago. Are they gonna be storing the ammonia in a solid or liquid or gaseous state?
It won't be a solid state. In the solid state, my understanding is that's the explosive part. They never go into a solid state with the UAN.
Well, when they get them breaking it, it's encapsulated in water,
Correct.
which takes away
The explosive element.
element.
So their product is gonna be gaseous,
Liquid.
liquid?
That's what he's saying.
But when they make it, it's tied up. It's encapsulated in water and it stays that way. And it's not, even if it was a dry version of it, it still wouldn't have the volatility as what we have now. Because what we have now is the natural gas, man-made nitrogen. And this, the process, that's why they gotta have so much electricity. However they do this, and I still don't understand it, but apparently it works. And if I understood right, the product that comes out of it, the UAN, is not near, it takes more of it to do the same thing than what we have now. Because it doesn't have the properties that the man-made stuff does.
I would like to see the court disseminate as much information as you can gather about this plant through whatever public media is available to you. More people know about it, the more support you'll gather.
They have a deadline of August 11th to apply for this. And like I said, it's very early in the process.
But that's a DOE
Correct.
deadline.
Yes.
And there's multiple investors in Remos, correct?
I don't know who they're investing.
I read up on that. There's 4 or 5, including Bill Gates.
Okay. My understanding, they're trying to apply for a grant. They're asking for support. That's as far as we are right
Well,
now.
I do not like or agree with rushing this through.
We're not rushing it.
I disagree.
Okay. The process is going to take until at least 2025. That's 2 years from now. I don't see how that's rushing.
Well, this letter is rushing. I mean, you're looking at 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Any more discussion?
Ms. Akert had her hand up.
I was just gonna say, is this to combine with diesel so it would make it, I mean, no, I'm just saying the end product would be kind of like ethanol
No, ma'am.
type of thing, except for diesel and ammonia to run tractors. That's what an
No,
article.
ma'am. No,
Okay.
it's a fertilizer.
Okay,
to
it's strictly fertilizer, but not fuel.
put- Correct.
Okay,
That's our understanding, or my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay, that's all was wondering if
Okay.
it's gonna be fertilizer or for fuel.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. I'd entertain a motion.
Judge, I make a motion that we give a letter of support to Remo UAN facility to be located here in Scurry County through a grant application of the Department of Energy.
All in favor?
I have a question. I just got in here late. Where y'all gonna get all the water at?
It's not fresh water, it's brine water that they're discussing.
Where you gonna get it at?
That's not up to us. That's up to them. This is just a letter of support. And honestly, at this point, if you would like to enter the discussions, you would need to fill out a form for a public participation form.
Well, what gets me, what are you guys here for? You ought to be able to tell us what's happening instead of just,
We just
Going around the
described
bush.
every bit of that, and we're not gonna go right back over it.
well, I'm
All
sorry.
right, court to discuss and consider the courthouse structural assessment report from JQ Engineering LLP and consider going out for bids on repairs. As you can see, on this, there are several panels that have moved and they've given, recommendations on how to fix those. They are fixable. So the one granite panel on the south building elevation, which is laterally displaced over 1 inch, should be reset in proper alignment with the adjacent panel. Top and bottom of this panel should then be reattached to the supporting structure with steel angles attached with anchors drilled and set with epoxy into the back of the panels and into the supporting structure to provide lateral restraint. That clears mud. And then they have number 2 and number 3 on that. And then replacement of the joint sealants between the granite panels should be planned within the next 2 to 5 years.
In other words, they're doing to put it back like it used to be.
Right.
Before it started moving.
We need to fix it before it falls.
I agree.
I noticed they didn't entertain my idea.
With the loader, no front end loaders,
You know,
no come on, right?
I didn't know.
Don't understand.
I didn't know that. Come on.
There's also one area underneath that end that has water damage, and they have given an assessment on what to do there. Patch it, basically let it dry out, clean it out, let it dry out, and then patch it with non-sag cementitious repair mortar.
Please agree with it.
Anyway,
We're just
looking at it, so I can't.
We're just going out for bids.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
we don't have to accept anything.
Right.
It's,
Do we want to go out for bids to have it repaired? He did give 3 companies that they've worked with before. We can reach out to those 3 companies. And put out for bids to have all repaired.
Let's pay me now, pay me later, so fix it.
before it does something like Sweetwater and fall off and never kills something. But I mean, we don't. Judge, I'll make a motion to go out for bids for repairing the courthouse.
So again, all in favor? All right. Here's the fun stuff. Court to consider accepting oath and bond of county treasurer. We'll do the JP one. Or you want to do them both together?
I'm gonna go to Misty's at the end of the meeting.
I think she's gonna be here anyway.
Yeah.
Not gonna.
Judge, I make a motion to accept the oath and bond for county treasurer. And also, if it's okay, move that we accept the oath and bond for our JP ones and let's get them back to work.
All in favor? Thank you both and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, court to discuss and consider county welfare converting from legacy fuels to United Fuels for dispersal of fuel vouchers for clients and consider voucher amount. I'm assuming that's what Brandon's here today. No?
I shouldn't have anything else going on.
Okay. So we understand, I think, Legacy, you're closing your shop or your fuel station for now?
We are converting it, which will make it difficult for the welfare group to be able to utilize. So our pumps will be active. The method of documenting what has typically been to walk inside and sign a physical ticket, that option will no longer be available.
Okay.
So I think it makes sense.
Okay.
I did pull for y'all's benefit so that we'd know how much this looked like over the course of the year. And it's not an enormous amount. In 2022, there was $1,658 worth of fuel that went through the welfare group, and year to date, you're at 737. So year to date. So it's not an enormous number.
Thank you. Yeah. I make a motion that we allow, sir. Second, did you say?
No. No. Let's consider the voucher amounts also.
Okay.
So talking to, Bianca, sorry, I'm having a moment. I think it's a senior moment, getting there. So the voucher amounts, we were gonna discuss that a little bit.
Okay.
They're currently at $20.
Yes, sir. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank Brandon. Thank you and Legacy Fuels for your service. Y'all have been a great asset to our department. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all matched today. Wow.
So we did call each other.
Yeah. But on the voucher amounts, I wanted to consider that because of course we're experiencing an increased rise in fuel prices, and $20 isn't getting our clients really much, maybe 5 gallons, I'm thinking. But we have clients, it's case by case. Some of them will need to go to Sweetwater, some of them will need to go to Big Spring, and then we have some out of town more like San Angelo and Lubbock and Abilene. So I was wanting to get approval to possibly increase our voucher amounts. I'm guessing about $35 per client. I was thinking a sliding scale, but I don't know how that's gonna work. I may have to do a budget amendment. We may not have room for all that sliding scale right now. Maybe we can reevaluate again next year, but maybe starting off at $30 per client, give them at least a little bit more.
That's fine with me. And that's the only reason I would think that you would need approval. I mean, you're using the money for what you need to, and you know what you need to better than we do. So if you're talking about needing to do a budget amendment, then that would come to us anyway.
Okay.
Right, but we want
On the amount that you allow for each individual client to use, y'all said that.
They're at 20 right now.
Right.
That's correct.
I mean, so she doesn't have that ability to make
No,
that
the
within
court
her
said it
budget?
before.
Okay. So I don't see how $30 is gonna help them a whole lot, but it's gonna be more than 20, I understand that, but $30 wouldn't get you anywhere.
Unless we do a sliding scale, like I mentioned, the ones who are near, such as Big Spring, Sweetwater, we can do 30, and the ones who are farther, 40,
I mean,
like Lubbock,
that'd
Abilene.
be agreeable to me. I mean, whatever the commissioner court wants to discuss. It makes no sense to give them something they can't utilize, and if they can't get to where they need to go, then they can't get the help they need.
Now, and I'm just asking. The ones that go San Angelo, Lubbock, Abilene, do you have proof that's where they go?
That's correct, yes, sir. We
Okay.
verify their appointment. They either bring in a card or we do it over the phone.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As well as the valid person's driving license and vehicle insurance.
Okay. That was my only concern was, they call it fraud, but,
Sure.
I'm good with it.
So,
What amounts?
So I'm thinking a sliding scale, if it's okay with y'all, the ones going near 30, such as Spring Sweetwater, like I said, and, excuse me, and the ones going farther, 40.
and so with the top being 40, do we have to tell her as well that, okay, for those near, you have to give them 30? Or can she use her own judgment in that? I mean,
That's the reason I asked if she had proof.
Yeah.
Where they're going.
right, so you got a sliding scale. Can
And
she just use her own judgment in that sliding scale as to how much she
I
gives,
would
up to
think so.
$40?
Yeah.
Do we need to just put a cap on it?
So
If y'all are
$40.
establishing a sliding scale of 30 to 40, 30 local or close and 40 farther away, then she would then make that determination and by verification of the appointment.
But because it's only $20 right now, we want to bring it
Yeah, we're gonna go
through
to
the
30,
court to make
40.
sure.
And
that-
sliding
because
scale,
it's
sure.
county taxpayer dollars, that's why also
Yes.
that the court has to make that authorization. Since y'all are increasing that, when we get to the budget part, we may want to look at that mark for the 2024 budget.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's possibly, well, it will put that line over.
Will we be making, it's under 50,000, so will we be making a contract with United?
We
at all?
already have an agreement with
We're working.
because we have,
With United?
yes.
Okay.
Fuel.
The senior center buys a lot of groceries there. I mean, we have accounts with United already and we don't spend over 50,000 a year there.
Yeah. And we already bought what now?
Groceries, the senior center goes there and buys gets groceries there.
We utilize our prescriptions from the pharmacy as well, so it makes it easier for us to just collaborate with.
So Terry, I think it's on the agenda as United Fuels, but I believe we're discussing United Supermarkets.
Oh,
That's-
yes.
Yes.
The United Fuel station at United Supermarket.
I apologize for that.
I
Thanks for getting lost.
I missed that.
That's why you're looking, I'm like, what else would they buy there? Groceries.
Bunch of Fritos.
United States
Sales.
Woo, okay. So, with that understanding, I'm motioning that we allow the county welfare converting from legacy fuels to United Supermarkets fueling station for dispersal of fuel vouchers for clients considering the voucher amounts of a sliding scale from 30 to 40 in your discretion.
That's correct.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
You're gonna have to let us know when you're back up and running again.
So we will be down officially for 1 day,
Wow.
is all we're gonna be down.
Okay.
And the station will be, look for my Facebook Live later on today.
And then it will only be like pay the pump.
It'll be car wash. Yeah, it'll be paid pump only.
All right, court to discuss and consider certification of additional revenues in the form of proceeds from reimbursement from Hamilton Medical. And then, go ahead.
There's $914.51, just a reimbursement, and, I don't know where I do my agenda. I believe he is also requesting to place it into the Texas cost MS line.
Terry, you want to have a motion?
Please help me here.
I'll make a motion with certify the additional revenue from Hamilton Medical Texas class and allow it be put in to the Texas EMR line.
Second. All in favor? All right. Now,
Combined.
LPG.
Fund G and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Getting it up. Court discussing, discuss and consider any change to calendar year 2024 optional county fees. County road and bridge fee may not exceed $10. Revenue must be credited to county road and bridge fund. We do $10, correct? Am I looking at that?
That's my understanding.
Okay, and second one, the child safety seat, we do not qualify because we're not large enough for that. And we don't fit into the other transportation project fees.
Judge, I make a motion that we keep the fees for the county at the same rate as what they have been in the past, $10.
All in favor? Just gotta do it. Court to discuss and consider approving county coordinator pay to Ron White. We were talking about before, needed to come through here to vote on that, to show that she is county coordinator and, or verify that she is county coordinator through AgriLife as they've appointed her and show that pay to her.
What an amazing job they do
Yeah,
for our
absolutely.
kids and ranchers, farmers. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Make a motion that, Ronald White, the county coordinator, and the pay.
All in favor?
effective immediately, right?
Yes.
You want to go back to, no, never mind. Back to me, never mind, we're good. Court discuss and consider purchase of playground equipment and signing of contract with playgrounds, et cetera. See,
This was all due to a grant, correct?
Yes, he's using the funds that are remaining in that fixed price wildlife fund that they had for a long time in there. And it's just updating, what is it here? Updating, renewing that playground. I think it's the kiddie park playground.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make the motion of we approve the purchase of playground equipment and sign a contract.
And the waiver,
Playground.
and the waiver.
Waiver.
And we are all gonna sign.
You're all gonna sign.
Yeah, okay.
All in favor?
That's good.
All right, court to discuss and consider items and amounts in each line of the upcoming 2024 county budget, including possible votes on individual budget lines and items, and whether amounts or items should be included in or excluded from the proposed budget. Or, well, you know what? Let's do the line item transfers and budget amendments first. Let's get that knocked out.
Okay, there's only one line item transfer. It is for golf course, into maintenance and repair, 5,000 out of utilities, is to cover the line. And I don't have any budget amendments.
Make a motion to approve, line item transfer.
All in favor? Okay, accounts payable.
Accounts payables, $1,456,457.92.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
All in favor? All right, now we'll go to the budget. Let me go to.
Yes, sir, thank you. There's two of them, Jeff.
Is there any place that y'all want to discuss in the budget?
Terry's on one as well.
Yeah, and I want to go back to welfare for a minute and look at what they're doing. Let's discuss Terry Hall. You requested an additional employee. And
We are have been needing an additional employee for some time. When it rains, we need at least 5 people there to do the work that we need to do, and also to do other work, helping with the chip sealing. There's always a time that have someone that's off on sick leave, on vacation, other funerals, other things that happen, and so it leaves us in a situation where it's very difficult to get our work done. And so we do definitely need that. And we got Daniel down now.
That's, and
So we're down to 3 already anyway. And so it's hard to find part-time. Very difficult.
it'll be hard to find full-time.
It is.
I'll send you some applications.
There you go. If you don't want them, don't send them.
But, no, and, and the issue with Daniel is, until,
It's ongoing. We just don't know. We pray for him every day. We hope the best for him. It could be drawn out for months or years.
I don't have an issue with, I don't have an issue.
Full disclosure, you increased your part-time $1,350, office supplies $10, fuel and oil $8,300, tires $1,100, machine hire $500, road materials $19,250, safety and training $110, maintenance and repairs $2,915, building and ground supplies $300, equipment, $275. So, with the additional employee, total increase of 116, $494. We did put the proposed budget out on Friday. Everything fits in the proposed budget to the no new revenue rate of 4820, with some additional funds left over, $509,000.
$509,000.
9,000, yeah. So, any discussion on anywhere else other, we need to increase, welfare. Which line is that?
4260, I believe.
4260?
Yes, sir.
Indigent transportation, it would absolutely make sense. 3250 is what you have in there, this year.
I think that should be okay if we only used almost $2,000 last year. I think
But you're already at 1734, through July of this year.
1734.
Yeah, that's what you said year to date, right, Brandon?
730.
So
Seven.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we should be okay. What were you gonna say, Jason?
A lot.
A lot.
Do you have time?
Judge Commissioner's Court, if I heard you right, you're gonna do the budget, you know, your revenue rate.
Everything that.
I need
is within
3
the budget.
ambulances 10 years ago. I'm running 3 ambulances that are over 15 years old. Granted, I'll replace one in October. I had mentioned last week about putting the ambulances on a 2-year rotation. This is a great year to purchase another one if you're going to the no new revenue rate and to keep money in tax class. We've got the extra money. It's a perfect year to capitalize on that, at least for my department.
It wasn't so much.
Well, I condensed it down from what it was originally thinking. So,
You said it takes what, 2-3 years to build it?
yes, sir.
So
So
you can lock the rate.
I can lock the rate in now for delivery in 2 years.
That's what the one that he has being built right now, it's locked in. We locked it in almost 2 years ago.
Over 2 years, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, if it's that low, I'd sure like to capitalize on that,
Makes sense to me.
but that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Jason.
And you're first in line.
What's
That
that?
saves somebody's life.
Yeah, I mean, it
And you
just,
can't do it with a broke down ambulance.
if we've got that, we got the revenue coming in, it sounds pretty good to me.
Are you saying with that 509 used?
No, I'm not talking
You're
about 500, I'm talking an additional 300,000 to that 500.
Okay.
350,000.
I'm just like
And
following
you
along.
would, you're saying to go over the NNR rate.
I'm saying whatever we have to do that's in between, that's gonna keep us out of trouble. Yeah,
Between the no new revenue and the voter approval.
yes. If we can keep in between that and capitalize on some much needed county improvements, such as getting a new ambulance, then that's a great place to go. I think it's the year to do it. As a department head, anyway.
Thank you.
How many calls did you have this month, Jason? Your calls have been absolutely insane.
This, I don't know, 120 or 220 something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Second highest call line was in July, ever. And it was 280 something.
That's 70 a day,
No, it's like 80 a day, I think.
220.
280
Oh, yeah. That's right.
requests for service. And all those, not all those we make the scene on, but I'm just, our ambulances, we've got a 2000, we've got 3 2008, 2009 boxes that we've remounted in 2015. We blew in their radiator. I had 3 trucks down last week. Now, we had that reserve unit that I kept, and we brought that reserve unit up so we didn't lose coverage. But this heat's killing us. Every one of them's had air conditioner problems in the past month. Luckily, we've been able to fix them with a low cost, but, Angela can pull my vehicle expense line. Well, don't pull it now, pull it next month. But you'll see the charges that are coming in on it. And so, if you guys know, your equipment goes down, you gotta love it. Especially if I had to go to Lubbock, the radiator came from Houston, And, ended up going to Lubbock on Friday to get the radiator so we could get it installed Monday morning, just to expedite the process. So we're having to do some things that are in the box just to get things fixed. So, but you guys know that. You're doing it on your stuff too. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Ms. Summers?
I have some observations and then I have some direct questions. So you already, have you received the certified values from appraisal district?
We did on July 25th, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you basically know your rates that you're looking at?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Couple of observations in looking at the proposed budget versus the one that was filed for 2023 this year. Looks to be a little over 1 million more. And health insurance was 3.5. If you combine road and bridge and commissioner's court, you're looking at just a few $1,000s under 4 million. My questions are
you talking about increase? What are you talking about for me? What, I don't
I'm
understand.
combining road and bridge with the commissioner's court expenses.
Total?
Yes,
Okay.
just right under 4 million. That's comparing to 3.5 for health insurance, just some comparisons here. My questions are, the health insurance for the county share for this year was 180. For 2024, it's increased 50% up to 270. I was wondering why.
An increase 50%. The increase was 5 point.
Yeah, it was only 5%, but, if there was any changing out of employees, new employees come in with family insurance and some that had employee-only insurance. I don't have the details of the increases in insurance. Those are the main things. If you hire somebody new and they need full family coverage, it costs quite a bit more for that, than it does for employee-only.
So the county
But I
share
don't know
of
that
health
that's what it was without looking at that.
the county's share of health insurance is not only retirees, it's for differences in current employees. Is that what you're saying?
It would be the increase, the 5% increase on the, I don't even think it was 5.
Yeah, it was.
It's 5.1,
Well,
something
when
like
you go
that.
from 180 to 270.
It was just under 6% increase because we was shocked that it wasn't more than that.
Yeah, it was, they were talking 8 to 11%.
Yeah, right.
And then if there was a turnover of staff and the new staff comes in and they chose family insurance, then that insurance cost was more. I don't have those numbers, and Misty's not gonna have it because this is her first day. So we would have to look at those to see all of the full details of that.
And then I want to touch on the emergency reserve fund. 2024, you were saying you're gonna put 0 in there.
From tax dollars. From tax dollars. That's gonna come from the abatement funds that is out of Fund 29. The plan is to, so we've taken all the abatement funds, and I've explained this a couple of times in court. All the abatement funds of 800 and, I'm gonna have to go to that, Fund 29.
37 is close.
$841,445. So instead of calculating the abatements against our tax rate to lower the tax rate, if we do that, it's gonna cause problems 10 years down the road. There's no way we'd be able to catch up. So we've set that in a separate fund, Fund 29. And at the end of the year, next year, we will put some of that into the emergency reserve fund.
Okay. For 2023, 500,000 was put into the reserve fund. 2022, 0. 2021, 500,000. And 2020, 1 million. That adds up to 2 million.
Correct.
As of yesterday, Angela's reply to me about the balance in that reserve fund was 1.551.
We haven't gotten to the end of the year yet.
The money, the reserve fund, the money for the reserve fund hasn't been allocated to it yet this year, for 2023. It's done at the end of the year. And yes, that is the current balance in the emergency reserve fund, 1,551,000. And whatever the difference was,
So
because of interest.
At the end of the year, it would be
Another
1.5 plus 500,000. Okay,
Yes.
that clarifies that.
The other 51,000 is interest.
Okay.
Okay, so, is there any other area you wanted to discuss? And you want to discuss Jason's idea of adding an ambulance to the budget?
If we don't, we're gonna fail. I mean, we're talking about people's lives. Whatever the other guys think. We wanna talk about. I'd love to see more money into the reserve. We have failed to keep those ambulances where they need to be, and they're going, I mean, you get 3 ambulances in the shop at one time, somebody is not getting taken care of. I mean, if you get a lot of people calling in, you don't know when they're gonna call.
That's just for the red flag that our equipment's reaching end of life. And I think we need to address that.
So we would, lock it in. And,
Lock it into 5710, yeah.
right, and then at the end of next year, if we didn't have the ambulance, put it in text class until we,
Until the time when it comes in, but,
Is that legal?
didn't we already pay for the one that's on order? Cause we.
No, I would,
Yes,
I
then
would
we
not
did-
pay for it.
Because that money is held in Texas class, so it is,
Yeah.
it's obligated, it's obligated funds already
Mhm.
earmarked, but it's being held in there to continue to, get interest on it. And Texas class is paying good interest.
But through the buy board, we could put into the contract that we could fund it in 2024 budget. And, any discrepancies to the actual bid would be addressed and paid for by the manufacturer, which has been done before because of the delay in the build, and they're monitoring those. So they generally don't make costly errors, but in the event that they did, we would be protected by that. And that would all be in the contract with the buyer. So,
I mean, we've locked them in before. Your last one was what, 270?
no, 250. We took some stuff off of that, so we're looking around this 240 range, I think. But we still haven't received the product. Still haven't seen the truck. We were promised it October of last year. Now we're promised it October of this year, so.
It's getting closer.
Yes, but if we couldn't get a build in 2 years, and we had the money sitting in 5710, and there's opportunity to get a demo unit and capitalize on something, even a little cheaper, if we could, like a mini mod box or something like we got from the grant last year, which are still running. I don't know, I think that mini mod, if I remember right, was 220. If I remember right, something like that. But it's a crapshoot right now. I don't know what's coming out of Canada. I don't know what's coming out of Florida. A lot of them already have been spoken for before they come out of the factory. But I'll have to, well, that's just, I don't know. It's just whoever's available, whenever they're available. So there is a chance that we could purchase an ambulance. I mean, that one that we purchased on the grant, we've been looking at it for a couple of months and told it wasn't going to be available. And when the state EMS director said, hey, this truck, if you can get this truck in 2 weeks, it's yours. I'll adjust the grant. And so we made the phone call and they said, it's a surprise to us, it's coming to us. And so we had it purchased before it hit the state line. So, and that was the luck of the draw there. Now we had to take that truck back to Lubbock and have the air conditioner completely redone. But we still got it and they warranted that. So I think if the revenue's there, I think it's a great opportunity to capitalize on that. That's just my point.
I don't know what you do in the price. Because we've done that in the past.
Wish we could do that on other items. So we're getting, like these vehicles, you can't just keep running them. They gotta be changed out. We're going through that road and bridge.
So you want to include that in the budget? 2024.
I would say that we would, we should. Absolutely, I think so.
What amount?
You're looking at me, you know what I'm gonna say.
You know the number.
350 is what I'm gonna say, but
What's it gonna cost?
I wouldn't put any more than 350 in that at all. If you wanna put it on the low end, 250. So. There's a range there.
A big range. That's a small little.
Well, I mean, you're looking at remounts possibly, if you can't get a truck, so you gotta remount it, and that's gonna be about 250, or you can do a mini mod, and that's 275. And new trucks, 350, so it gives, there is a broad range.
And you've already remounted once.
We remounted these trucks once, yes, back when it was cheap to
The
remount.
2 different remounts.
Three.
What is the differences as far as longevity and the ability of using a new one as compared to remount or this other?
So the remount options on these trucks is gonna run us about 225 to 250,000, because we're gonna have to tear out the electrical system and the AC system to rebuild it. The flooring's in good condition, the upholstery should last. But these trucks, the actual cage itself is all aluminum, it's good to go. The chassis is not. The chassis is gonna, you're gonna put it on a V10 gas engine, Chevy or Ford, which are just a higher gas engine. I've talked to a couple of mechanics around town that they discourage that in a van because of our high idle times and how we drive them. And they feel like it's better used in a just diesel pickup, so there's an increased cost there. There is ambulance services that are putting putting these ambulance boxes on van gas chassis. And some have good luck and some don't. It's just like you buy a new gas pickup and in 8,000 miles, you could be replacing the engine. So it's depending on the Chevy or the Ford, I would probably go the Chevy route on the higher engine. But the difference is in the chassis as well as the box. The box, these were built, one of them was built in 2008. The other two were built in the first part of 2009. And the company that we bought them for doesn't exist anymore.
But you're doing 250, 275, 350 for a brand new one.
Brand new one's about 350.
The longevity between the lowest to the highest. Is the newest truck gonna last a lot longer? You're gonna have time, more remount time? Is it more efficient to buy the new one than it is the remounts and the?
Yeah, it always is more efficient because you're rotating them out. If we actually get them on a two-year rotation cycle, then by all means it would be, because you're still running that truck for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just on a 2-year rotation. Most ambulances replace ambulances every 3 to 5 years, larger services, because they're running them hard so hard. And but they've got it in the factory where they're already pre-budgeted, they're kicking them out every year, a certain amount, and they get a quota, 20 trucks a year or whatever that they're buying. So, but we are not in that position because we're rural, and our call volume is going up, which is why we're seeing the wear and tear on the trucks that we're seeing. But we could get by with, a longer lifespan for the truck than a service that's doing 1,000 calls a month. So
would the new one be a van or truck or?
if we purchase a new one, it'd be a pickup chassis. Yeah. A diesel pickup chassis. I think that shows the longer mobility for us in our situation, in our rural area. Most likely it'd be 4-wheel drive.
And the 350 would cover that.
Yes, sir.
How much do you have, in Texas class?
The last report, I think, was, if you subtract what's already been allocated, hang on.
While he's looking for that, the difference between the no new revenue and the voter approval is $464,932.
Let's make a deal.
Just so you know where the room we have between the two.
And that may not happen in the next few years again. But I mean, oil field goes down, we're gonna be back at Chop City. And it's gonna go down. It always has.
I don't know. I have to have Misty pull that for me.
Well, the reason I was asking,
Oh, Angela pull that for me. I thought Texas Pass was treasurer. I got it in her book.
Well, I have as of May, but, the end of May, the balance was 586,140. That's total balance in there. That's not, what is obligated is
I think I obligated 250.
what?
Yeah.
586.
And that was at the end of May. We had June and July added, and we've been getting really good interest rates every month on that. So I know that it's over 600,000 already. So he's got 250 obligated, and then,
Yeah, we have an automated CPR device that's 20. I've got a $30,000 5-year yearly that comes out of that for our cardiac monitors. Remember, we decided, and then I've got that 175 that we're not doing anything with. That we considered lost revenue until we get all the reports back.
the reason I'm asking is, would you be willing if we budget below you? Okay. And then if you lock in a new one, would you be willing to take the remainder out of your Texas class?
If I have it there, of course.
Well, I mean, you should be.
Yeah,
Unless something horrific happens.
the key point to that comment is that 175 that we're sitting on. So
Well, I mean,
if that gets released, absolutely.
Because, I mean, we do need to keep the ambulances up. But by the same token, I sure would like to stay at the moment revenue rate. But that's a discussion for debate.
It's actually a discussion for now.
Yeah, we take a record vote, don't we, babe?
yeah, on the
Yeah.
8th you take the remote, but I can discuss where y'all are gonna land before that.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to get to there, we need to figure out how to get to there now, so that we're not scrambling at the last minute, trying to figure out how to get back there.
The thing we want to keep in mind is the legislature is giving us a window of compressing the largest taxing entity in the county and throughout the state for property owners. In November, we're gonna vote, and I don't think it's gonna fail, that we get that compression. So there's the savings. I mean, we're just one entity, and most people believe we're the ones that's getting the most taxes from everybody. We're the cause of everything, but it's actually several more of those, and it's the opposite. And we have everything that's quality of life in this county. And the ambulance service is beyond quality of life. It's something that is absolutely going to have, and as new technology comes out, they're going to be even more important in the future. They have an MRI machine coming out that will show stroke in the ambulance within the next couple of years. The reason that that's so important is because if you can get TPA, the sooner you get it, you got 1 day or a few hours. And it can reverse that stroke, which brings economics to the county by reversing, because otherwise it's harmful to the community and to the person, to the family. It's going to be vital that we keep our ambulance service, the vehicles that they're driving, up to date. And yes, we're getting one maybe taken care of. And if we do the bargaining, maybe or maybe not, what do we do with the other two going forward whenever the oil field fails? And we're cutting and we can't afford it and we can't do it. And now we've got 2 ambulances that are out of service and we're not doing our job. We've got 492,000 cushion, 350 is quite a ways from the going up to the voter approval rate. And I'm just talking, I'm not making a motion here. But if we don't keep those vehicles in good condition, they're going to be in the shop and somebody's going to die.
Ms. Summers?
So the tax rates you're looking at, you're already saying no new revenue is 0.48. What is your proposed and what is the?
No new revenues, 0.4820.
0.4820. Okay, and what's the voter approval rate you're looking at right now?
49.56.
49.56. And then what about the proposed?
That don't take record vote till next week. They're discussing proposed right now. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that was the reason I was asking Jason if that would be something he's willing to do.
Again, if we're comfortable spending that extra fund, yes. So, because I have to keep so much in there for the cardiac monitors and automated CPR, which you'll get about approximately 11,000 in 2024 for the automated CPR device that we're looking at. You'll pay half of that. And so half of it will have to come out of there, plus the 250 that will come out for the ambulance. So it goes down quickly.
Right, so even at that, barring any something catastrophic, you're still looking at 350 to 400,000.
350 probably is.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the interest until.
Yeah, if I build a Cadillac, it'll be 400,000, but we don't need that.
Well, I'm talking about left.
Oh.
Texas class.
Texas class, yeah.
Yes.
Minus, after the ambulance.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But before all the other things that he mentioned.
Yeah.
And 175, we don't know for sure.
I did the math on it the other day and by the time I was done, I was at 5,000 left in the account. So I stopped doing the math. Started crossing things off. And when our automated CPR device that we purchased 5 years ago is nobody will do a preventative maintenance on it. So we're looking at a $20,000 machine there to purchase. But we won't do that till 2024. And when we get the EMS county rack funds, which which will match that. But it all depends on that 175, and what you feel comfortable with doing with that, and I have no problem.
And so 250, 350, what are y'all saying?
Well, they're thinking, if we don't remount the boxes, are the boxes worth something to another service? And if so, how much? Because you said it's aluminum.
Have you ever had an RV before?
I don't ever want one. I know exactly where you're going with that.
Yeah, that's about the
That's what it's worth.
appreciation of an ambulance to most of the public, and it is, if you buy an RV for.
It's worth more to the person that has it than the person that's gonna buy it.
So, we do have there's some buyers out there. I have not looked at any research into what they're charged or what they're purchasing those for. But by all means, we could go out for bids and see what we could get. I think the last bid we went out for, we ended up, it was minimal, and we didn't give it to the prison, I think.
Yes, so we did. Two of them.
Or the fire department, I'm sorry, the fire department.
No, we gave something
Well,
to
we
the
gave
prison
one
as
to the
well.
prison, and
Yeah.
then we gave a couple
Yeah.
to the fire department.
Yeah, that's right.
We gave two to the fire department that I know of.
If they want to get rid of it and get something better.
So, well, they had to do some work to it to get it
Yeah.
going.
Exactly.
But, I think that we could get some funds, obviously, back.
But it's gonna be minimal.
But I believe it to be minimal, yes.
What is that? Do you see grants?
So the extraordinary funds grant to the state, which is the easiest grant to get ambulances through, after our last grant, the state EMS director kind of made a point to say, I won't see you for another 5 years. And so, because I've gotten 3 ambulances out of that grant, and for a rural ambulance service, it's quite a bit. So I've capitalized it on, now I'm counting my days and I'll reapply again, but if you look at the extraordinary funds grant, that's,
By the way,
the state is giving quite a bit of money.
I'd like you to meet our new grant writer.
Yeah, I have applied for some extra grants for ambulances that you guys weren't aware of, and we were declined. But it's very competitive. The money's there. The grant money is out there, but it's for a specific program for, in the medical field, there's a lot of grants that I'm aware of that you have to tie it to a specific program that a lot of our, our healthcare provided in Scurry County covers. And so it's hard to justify winning those grants, which is why we were turned in the other 2. So. But basically you tie an ambulance to that grant or whatever program that you're willing to start. So.
No, I was just gonna say, he's talking about 250 and take the rest out of text class. I was thinking 3 and then take the rest out of there. It wouldn't get as much on text class, just in case.
Yeah, that's a saving. You look at the text class as a saving account, for sure. Just like you would at your personal savings.
So going forward, how do we get the other 2 changed out?
Pray for great revenue.
Pray for the oil field to stay.
Pray for great revenue from insurance providers and that's the main Medicare and Medicaid. Make sure that the reimbursement rates are going up. Part of my provider, we have to do a cost report next year, and hopefully that'll prove to Medicare and Medicaid that our costs are as high as they are, and that they'll increase our rates, which will increase our revenue.
Have they done that?
No, they have not. They've kept our rural rates up, our percentages up, which is a big thing, but they have not increased the rates. And so we're actually on our next court meeting, we'll talk about some rate stuff as well, going into 2024. I gotta talk to Dan about it. He doesn't know yet. But, we're doing our best to try to capitalize on those provider rates and hoping for, we are at 120, well, you read my monthly report last month. We're in pretty good shape for what we currently have with providers in our area. So we're doing, the system that we're using is working, and we're maximizing our revenue. We just need more from the providers. insurance providers and whatnot. So, and that's every ambulance service across the nation. So how do we get more revenue? That's the case. But when you mentioned what you're going for in your budget, to me, it's a great opportunity to capitalize on that when we have a year like we have. That's all I'm requesting.
Good.
So
250, 350, Jeff?
At 3, I'd like to get him to commit to a number, but I know that's kind of hard.
Yeah,
But I'm at 3.
I'll be great.
Well, okay. In order, because it's at no new revenue rate. Everything goes right. We got 551 left.
509 or 590?
561.
563, 766 is at without adding the 3. So add in that 3, 263, 766. You put in that 300,000 for EMS. And I didn't, that doesn't include, no, we didn't change.
We didn't change it.
So with that, it would be 263, 766. Additional revenue, or however you want to word.
But my point is, I would like to stay with 560.
Stay at the no new revenue.
Don't forget you also have the funds in the 29 that are, so, I mean, not that I am not a voting member, but I would like to give my opinion on this. If I don't mind, if you don't want it, I won't give it to you. So just tell me and I'll just.
Speak.
Okay. I also feel that y'all should stay at the no new revenue rate. It's been a hard year and I understand that, we're probably gonna go back down, but everybody has had inflation and everybody has saw, it's been hard. Our evaluations went way up on people's taxes, and I just really feel like if we're able to get it at NNR, do it at NNR this year, because who knows what we're gonna be able to do next year. That's my opinion, and that's all I have to say about
I thank you for your opinion,
that.
because all of our taxes, our appraisal taxes went up, unless you went to fight, and I had to fight to get it down a little bit.
And it didn't even go down.
How'd that go, Sheila?
Huh?
How'd that go?
I got 7,000 off, but they upped it over 20-something thousand
Wow.
for my 721 square foot house.
Wow.
Mine went up 50,000.
And that to me, my little house, which has plumbing problems that I can't afford 30,000 to clear out the plumbing problems that wasn't done right first time. Whoever does a level drain line should be shot. It's just all this. When your kitchen sink takes you 30 minutes to drain, there's a problem.
Absolutely. No slow.
Okay.
I mean, I sit there and timed it, and I did a video for her.
But, like I said, I want to stay at the no new revenue rate, and I realize that we're in need of an ambulance.
I would love to do that too. Here's my point. The legislature, God love them, used to pay 50-something%, 51.2% of the school budget. They are now at 30 to 35 cents. That is property tax. They're going to reduce that amount, which is going to reduce all of our taxes this year for 24. This is an opportune time for the county, not looking at the other entities, to, unless we can get them to come and help pay for ambulances, and I don't see that happening.
Mhm.
We are going to have to replace these. We've got 3, not 1, that needs to be replaced. And no, it's no big deal until you have a heart attack or you have a stroke or you have a loved one that does. but we've got a chance to do something with the very little increase that we're able to do this time, and next time we may not be able to do it. I've never seen the oil field stay up for a very long time. And so we're gonna get a reduction. As the county, we're not the only one doing this taxes stuff. As the county, we should take care of our ambulance service while we've got an opportunity to do so. I'd love to stay at no revenue rate. That'd be great. But we've got an aging population. They're gonna be needing more and more. I mean, the amount of people that we're carrying now is up more and more. It just keeps going. We can't believe it. And the population isn't going up, but it's getting older. And by getting older and by eating the trash and the food that we're getting sicker. We need them.
I don't dispute that. I do not. But I want to stay at the low revenue rate. That's me. And
So you mean you're not even agreeing to the 200,000? Okay, so you're back to the no new revenue rate now, okay.
Now, I think you're saying the 300,000, but keep it within the number.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So cutting something,
No,
to get there.
No, because we have an additional 563
Okay, gotcha.
at the number.
Oh, okay. I got
That we can,
that we can utilize.
yes, sir.
and like I said, I don't disagree. It's like emergency management. You don't miss it until you need it.
Don't we also be concerned about the amount of money it's going to take whenever we have, like one of these other counties has just had, like Matador? Do we have any idea the amount of money we're gonna need in reserves to take care of this community during one of those?
It's $1 million. It was at one time $1 million a month. It's probably gone up since then.
They recommend anywhere from 3 to 6 months, operating expense,
And we're, at the end of this year, we'll have two
but the court.
2 months,
2 months
and we're
in the emergency reserve.
and we need 6 months.
And so that's when we implemented that emergency reserve fund. That's what the idea was to do that, to build that up. Jason?
I have to go back and look at my budget proposals over the years, but it's been a while since I've ever requested anything in capital lines. Long time. So at least 4 years that I can remember. That I haven't put any, now I've got the stuff rolled into capital lines because of grants and whatnot, but in my budget proposals, I haven't requested capital.
I was in the budget process, I don't know.
All right, so no new revenue, increased by 300,000. Jeff and Doug.
No new revenue.
There you got it.
All right, so is there anything that you'll want to go over in the budget, anywhere at all?
Like we have.
Well, what we've already been over, I mean, I think we've covered everything.
So are you gonna put 300,000 in 5710?
Yes, yeah, everybody agreed on that,
Okay. Thank you.
but keeping at the no new revenue rate
I got you.
is, I think.
And you doing whatever you can with your,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, it's his EMS capital line
So you're saying a capital expenditure.
of 300,000 for that, grants.
Okay, so this
Line
is,
5710.
this, go ahead.
As Jill said, you do what you can.
Now, I can say, he is really good about finding all the little nicks and crannies to find those
He
little
is,
pennies on
he
it.
is, and, you know, that's the reason he's gotten a lot of the stuff that you've gotten is because of the revenue you bring in.
Right.
And put in Texas class, and I do appreciate that, but we all gotta work together. So if it works out right, and we don't know. But you kick in whatever you can, if possible, and lessen the burden of what we have left.
Understanding where the money's coming from now, of course, obviously, we're gonna try to put more back in that reserve. So I'm gonna try to get the best deal that I can.
You always do.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing I, like.
Yeah, I understood, thank you.
You know, we all gotta work together one way or the other. Just the way I see it.
You can come look with me. You can come look with me.
He loves to have people go visit him.
Yeah. You can come look with me and we'll go shopping.
No, good one.
No.
No one wants me to go shopping, but.
Shopping trip, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to be clear, everybody is satisfied with the budget the way it is. And we're gonna come back and do a record vote on the 8th. And we will set the budget and the tax rate on the 15th.
So the only current change that I need to add in there is the 300,000 to 85,540, 5710.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Everybody good with the budget?
I'm good.
I'm good. Yep. All right.
For another motion?
Yep.
Second. You know that didn't get closer.
I just did.
And then she'll.
Do you have, do you have the